got a chance to see a preview screening of the action thriller 40 Acres. Let's talk about it right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I am your host, Frank Zanka. I'm an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yeah, I went to the movies tonight. In fact, I just got back from Florida. I drove 7 hours, didn't get home until 3 o'clock in the morning. By the time I went to bed, it was 4. So I've been kind of tired all day. I didn't really feel like doing anything. But I was going to go to movies, so I didn't go to the movies last week at all, and there was a couple of things I wanted to see, including Materialists and the Samuel L. Jackson Western. But then as I was scrolling down to look for something to buy, I saw that there was a screening tonight, a preview screening at AMC, so it was a blank screening. You don't know what you're going to get till you sit down. Anyway, before we get into it, remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can, subscribe, please do. Share this video out there because it is an independent film that I saw, and I would love to support it. So, also, remember, too, that I am a writer. If you'd like to read anything that I have written over the years, you can go to Amazon.com and just type my name in, or there's a link in the description below. And it'll take you to my 4-novel quadrilogy sci-fi series, Destiny Aurora. It's also on Audible. It's also been made into a graphic novel and a board game. Definitely check that out. Is also Tales of Ravenor, the Iron Witch, which is my fantasy novel. And then I have a new comic that has just hit Kickstarter for it's on a pre-launch page. So you can just click notify me and it'll notify you when we launch in probably a few weeks. Definitely jump in on that. We have Evil Cinderella. We have a murderous Captain Hook, who I also gave a little fairy to, a little fire fairy. And Tiger Lily from Peter Pan is hunting them down, and they're ravaging New York. It's going to be pretty fun. Anyway, let's jump into 40 Acres. Again, I had no idea what I was seeing. I never even heard of this film. So it's done by and I say done because it's a writer, director, producer, and you know how I feel about that is, most of the time that's a real big control freak. And when you're dealing with control freaks in a creative area, they don't tend to listen to anyone. So it's one singular voice and one singular vision for the whole thing, and that can either be a big hit or a big miss. So the guy's name is R.T. Thorne. And when I first sat down, it kind of looked like, Walking Dead, where we had, just trees everywhere and stuff to that effect. And then you had this fence with the barbed wire on top of it and things like that. So the first thing I thought of was that it was 28 weeks later. That's what I was like, oh, wow, it's got 28 weeks later, but it ended up not being the case. And as I saw, there were more and more names I did not recognize. And then on the bottom, it just said 40 Acres. It was like the title was, I'm like, is that really the title? And then it's told in chapters. Thankfully, it's told in, I don't even know why it's really even told in chapters, because it does have a couple of flashbacks. But at least the chapters are all in order. It's not like it's a gimmick where it's out of order or anything to that effect. But this guy, R.T. Thorne, he's a Canadian, so this is shot in Canada. And it stars some people from like 1923 and stuff like that. So there's no names in here whatsoever. None. But yeah, so the only name that I even recognized in here, and she's not a big name, is Danielle Deadwyler, who was in Till, and she was just in Woman in the Yard. And then she was also in the Netflix show Carry On. So, but she's not a name. Nobody's going to recognize her. In fact, some of the women I was talking to when the thing was finished is that they describe her as the darker Taraji P. Henson. That's how they described. They were black dudes. So no racism there. It was funny because they were the same women that, I don't know, about a year ago or whatever, that I yelled at for having cell phones on. and now they introduce themselves, say hello to me all the time, and we sit and chat every time I bump into them at the theater. It's just random. But anyway, this is a post-apocalyptic film, but it's not zombies. It's cannibals. So all of the animals, I guess, have died off, and there's famine across the world. There's only a few farms that are still in working order, and everybody else is turned into cannibals. So there's a group of cannibals that apparently haven't eaten each other yet. Somebody said that, why don't they just eat each other? And they're going and raiding this faction of farms that are all kind of tied together, and they all kind of are on radio with one another, and they warn each other every time that there's some kind of an incident, as they call it. And Danielle Deadwyler plays pretty much the same part that she played in Woman in the Yard, except that she's she's ex-military here, so they are walking around with machine guns and stuff like that. But here she's still playing the stern mom. Okay, she still has the stern mom role. And she has the stern mom look down pat. That same look that she used in Woman in the Yard, she used in this film as well. Where it's like, boy, you better back down now. So I guess she went to the military and left her son, who's played by Katim O'Connor. His name is Manny throughout. And most of the names I didn't even know because Danielle Deadwyler is just known as Freeman. That's just her last name, which is also the actual name of the farm, which is weird too because she's married to a American Indian, which the guy's great. He's also from 1923. He played Hank there. But they have him wearing Indian shirts throughout. Like, I'm not talking about like Indian patterns. I'm talking about like a t-shirt with an Indian printed on it. So some of the stuff was like a little bit too on the nose. Race really isn't brought up in here at all, which is, I love that. There was no reason to bring up race in this entire movie. She fucks with one of her ex-military buddies kind of thing that because they mentioned that the other person, which I also originally I thought it was here in Atlanta because they're constantly mentioning Augusta, but it was the name of the other person that was running one of the other farms, who was also an ex-Marine, although a wider one. she didn't keep herself in shape at all. But anyway, that was the only time that race was ever mentioned, which is great because there was nothing here that lent itself to that. But he ended up throwing little things in there that didn't need to be in there. And, there was a book behind Manny's head throughout the entire thing. But little shit like that he didn't need to throw in there, but he did. The other really big standout, I thought, was Lena Robinson, who is also American Indian, and she was also from 1923, the show. And I thought her part was really good. She's a sniper. So the whole family has roles to play. So she's the sniper, which we get to see this huge, big action scene right in the beginning, and he did a really good job. The drone operator on that show, on this movie, is excellent. He has some really, really nice shots. They didn't even bother using a volume wall for the driving because you could see that she was gyrating in the car as she was driving, which means the camera was on some kind of a tray attached to the window. I love that. There was no reason to use the volume wall here. Everything's kind of shot on location for the most part. Again, shot outside the country, but of course he's a citizen, and then it only made sense because if he's a citizen of Canada, he might as well take advantage of the film rebate system up there. But for the most part, it had, just a very small cast. The rest of it is all stunt people. They're the fighters, the warriors, and stuff like that. But it's an $8 million film, right? So anyway, it's a thriller because, of course, the cannibals are infiltrating their house and stuff like that. So we get a little bit of almost like Walking Dead, except they're running. These are not people that are dead. These are like real people. So it's I liked a lot of what he came up with and what he did with the film. All the money is on the screen because I don't think that the cast made anything out of over scale. They're probably getting maybe $1,000 a day. That's about it. I wouldn't think that they got any more than that. But everything's on the screen. All the machine gun fire, all the set design. I don't know if he had to build portions of that house. There's a bunker system. All that was probably done on a stage. What I think, if I can guess. There's a lot of stuff that takes place in a barn, and stuff like that. So, and then there's all the woods, which is where all the drone shots are and stuff like that. But the problem is, at an $8 million film, even with zero marketing whatsoever, just zero, he's got to make, 20 million, 20 to 25 million. So I don't know, and that's with zero cast members that are pulling in people, like people that you recognize. Like when I'm trying to raise money for a film, you have to have some kind of attachment, or they don't even want to talk to you. But I'm actually only one step separated from this director because my sci-fi film that I did with Nichelle Nichols, Renegades on Manara, with Lauren Lott playing the young Nichelle Nichols. She was in a TV show, was a Canadian TV show that this guy wrote and directed, called The Porter. So I'm actually only one step away. If I asked her to put me in touch with him, I probably could get in touch with him. But I just don't see how this is going to make money, because there's nothing that is saleable in here besides, it's not even a horror movie. It's a thriller. It's an action thriller. So there's really nothing to market here. So I'm not sure how this movie is going to make its money back at $20 million. I think it's really high for what it is. He really needed a named star to get this over the hump. But with that being said, though, as far as it being an independent film, I thought it was very, very good. So he was able to pull off, his singular vision for it. Hopefully, he did listen to some people around him, and all the cast. Danielle Deadwyler, I mean, she always brings her A game. I haven't seen one thing where she didn't give it her all and pulled an amazing performance. Katim O'Connor is from Time Cut. He also, I couldn't even tell that he was in that, because here he does an amazing job. He's got a nice little arc. They all don't have arcs. They're all kind of supporting. I would think those two characters, the Danielle Deadwyler character, and the Manny character. And then, we'd have the love interest, and we have things like that. And, there's one part where there's a betrayal, and he was a better man than me, because I would have shot that shit. I would have shot her in the head as soon as she betrayed me. And my family, for that matter, because it's all about family. Not to say, bring anything up about Fast and Furious, but it's all about family. But yeah, it's definitely worth seeing. It definitely has some edge of your seat stuff. It doesn't shy away from the violence, meaning that there's a lot of weapons stuff here, and people are getting hit, people are getting shot. Even the main characters, nobody is immune. There's no plot armor on some of these people. To some degree, there is a little bit, but nothing for the. I mean, everybody gets wounded to some degree. So it's I was pleasantly surprised with it because I was like, maybe I should go out and see Materialist because it was starting at the same time. But I decided to stay, and I'm glad I did. Because I love supporting independent film, and this is definitely one. Only $8 million, and it's really all on the screen. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to get. And it would have been great to see Lauren Lawton here too. She could have fit in here easily. But yeah, it was definitely worth seeing, and definitely support it if you can support it. If it's playing in your theater, definitely go out and see it. So out of 10. It's probably a 7.5 for me. I don't know. It's not great. Like when I get to 8, then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to watch this over and over again. And I don't think I'm going to watch this over and over. If it's on, I'll probably watch it, but I'm not going to seek it out. I'm not going to buy it on DVD or whatever else. So yeah, so I'm going to say 7.5. Again, he did a really good job. I thought all the performances were great. You really get feel for the family. You really identify with them for what's going on, and you are rooting for them by the end. Anyway, definitely check it out. It's called 40 Acres, and it's a good night at the movies if you just want to have a little fun and have somebody grip you behind them, because there was some oohs and ahs in the theater as I was watching it. Where they were worried about the safety of the characters. Anyway, definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. If you can, subscribe. Please do. Ring that bell, ding, ding. And yeah, share this video out there as well so everybody knows about this movie so that maybe it can make its money back. I'm rooting for it one way or the other. And remember to check out my stuff on Amazon. And if you'd like to jump into Fairy Tales of Terror, the QR code is here, or you can click the link in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.